So this video is sponsored by Pionex, one of the exchanges I use all the time. It's one of the main crypto brokers to Binance, so the volume is very high. The main thing that sets them apart though is that you can use free trading bots, a variety all designed to benefit from different market behaviours, whether that's up, down or sideways. You'll get 20% off all your trading fees for life with my link in the description. And if you join the Telegram, a lot of us already use it, so if you've got questions we can try and help you out.
Hello everybody, welcome back. Here we go. Let's get straight into this. What's going on with Bitcoin? What's going on in traditional markets? It is Monday, so we're going to start with the overview of the markets, right, and how they closed because they're opening now. We've got the euro basically below this major area, which we kind of broke down from. Okay, so we've broken down below the formation, which is the rising wedge, but we were supported upon the 50 exponential on the 4 hourly and the daily 10 exponential. So basically still holding up okay. And if we start closing below those areas, and I suppose if you're looking for a price, closing below 108.5, sounds like a radio station, but if we close below 108.5 on a 4 hourly, you could have further downside moves, and that would probably change the direction of this. And again, geopolitical and just general political issues can arise to help move that down, whether it's from the Europe or America. This is a dollar pair, obviously. So, but at the moment, it's still getting picked up. So the euro still wants to continue up in the short term, which means that the dollar, or the Dixie, should I say, still will look to move down. We recognise the falling wedge broke out on the Dixie and the rising wedge broke down from the euro. So there is a subtle change of behaviour, but it's not quite enough. It's not quite enough for to guarantee any kind of change of direction. However, I do strongly feel that that's likely to occur at some point. Now, I'm not going to look at the S&P. And there's no point, because I really just wanted to talk about altcoins today and the general market, which is good. So let's just put it out there. If you're rushed for time, it's good. The market's good. I expect continuation over the medium and the long term now for the markets, and probably for all markets. It will be choppy. That's what markets are like, especially at the beginnings of bull markets and beginnings of bear markets. You know, that's why it's difficult to really give up the game in a bear market when you have such major big swings, and it's difficult to give up a bear market when you're seeing such incredible green candles. But there will be differences in direction, and what I mean by that is we will at some point consolidate from these significant runs, which is still a significant run. Recognize that this last week closed below the 200 exponential on the weekly. We should expect that to come down for Bitcoin at some point soon. Now, we could obviously move up to the 200 simple, the 50 exponential, all of these exactly as we've been saying this entire time. Move to 25,000 and possibly beyond, but 25,000 is not unlikely given what we've seen so far. And again, on the weekly, not overextended. In fact, I would probably say it's really not even got started, to be honest with you. But short-term timeframes based on a daily, given the next couple of weeks, should consolidate at some point. And given what we see on the euro and the Dixie, which is tiny changes of behaviour, would emphasise the fact that that should move. Now, the dominance chart continuing to get picked up around these levels, suggesting that Bitcoin is one of the better places to be. Doesn't mean that altcoins aren't going to move, but Bitcoin generally is the better place to be. And these three charts here will emphasize that fact, right? So this is the total market cap of crypto, including all the altcoins, including everything, Bitcoin, the lot. And you can see it's actually quite a healthy looking chart, trending above all major moving averages on the daily here. No golden cross, but above all major moving averages, and they're aligning themselves, they're getting into position basically right now. So that's good to see. Good looking chart. Still wants a consolidation, but maybe not from this exact level, but it still looks pretty good. Maybe we can reach this peak over here, so 1.15 trillion. So not bad. So let's have a look at excluding Bitcoin. So everything excluding Bitcoin, still good. So this would be your top caps and everything else. So this is Ethereum and whatnot, taking up an enormous portion of the market cap, but just no Bitcoin. So it's a good chart, but it's not as good as this one. This one is ahead, right? This is what this chart looks like maybe a couple of weeks ago. This is what you get the vibe. You see what I'm talking about. So again, we're above all major moving averages. It's still good, still early days, and you'd be looking to kick it. I suppose you could argue the fact that any pullback to just around 556 billion, this 10 exponential would be an area of interest to pick up your altcoins of choice. Larger caps on this one, particularly. Let's have a look at total market cap 3, which excludes Bitcoin and Ethereum. Rejection on the 200 exponential. Now, if the market continues to move up and everything moves up with it, this would likely break and this will continue to move up. This would also continue to move up as this moves up with this bullish formation that it's in already. So I'm not saying that buying the crappiest, smallest cap altcoin out there with a picture of a furry animal or something like that on the front of it that has no utility won't make you money. I'm just saying from a trader's perspective, it would favor the larger caps. In fact, it just favors Bitcoin to the most part. It also favors Ethereum, given the fact that this chart is heavily swayed by Ethereum, and it favors less the overall vibe of altcoins. Now, when I say this, don't get me wrong. I love trading altcoins. That is more or less my bread and butter. I love it, right? That is basically a large portion of my income is from trading altcoins, particularly just altcoins all over the place, right? But what I'm saying here is it's about risk to reward, okay? So, one part of trading that you've got to keep in mind at all times is not about making money, but it's preserving money, right? So you make money, you try not to lose it, right? So you've got to balance your risk to reward. What is the risk to reward right now on altcoins? Well, in the short term, I would make the case that with the Bitcoin dominance chart in no man's land and pointing up, and the total market cap, including Bitcoin, is the greater looking chart, I would probably say that is a sign in itself to suggest that if you are going to expose yourself to the market, smaller cap altcoins are probably not the greatest place to be at the moment, because not that they're not going to make you money, they could. Like I say, they shoot up 10, 20, 50% in a day, some of these things, don't they? I'm not saying that that's not going to happen, that's always going to happen, that's always the case. The thing I'm trying to point out is that they're getting rejected here, and so if this chart gets rejected here and all markets do pull back, like I expect them to pull back at some point, a larger pullback in markets are required at this point now. It's overdue, let's just say, it's overdue. Then the altcoins, the smaller cap altcoins, will get absolutely wrecked. Just for the short term, and then, like I say, you can use these charts here, dominance chart, total market cap excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum charts, all of these. You can use these charts to gauge whether or not the risk to reward is okay. But at the moment, buying a resistance on anything, especially small cap altcoins, generally in the market, not the greatest idea in my opinion, especially when, there could be, and there are telltale signs that there are changes of behavior in the broader picture for euro and dollar. Now again, I sound like a broken record when I talk about euro and SPX and stuff, and yeah, we get these trades and they work out, but the larger move would be a bullish retest of some of these lower zones, 106. 105 potentially on the euro, so that would be pretty dramatic for everything else, especially the small cap shit coins, really. So I don't, I'm all up for everybody trading what they want, where they want, how they want, but it's thinking about the risk to reward is probably the first thing you should think about. And I always talk about the domino effect of trading an altcoin. You look at altcoins and you go, okay, that's a great setup. What's Bitcoin doing? Not so great setup or whatever. Move over to traditional markets. Okay, let's have a look at SPX. S&P's not looking very good. Let's have a look at, you see what I mean? So you've got to think about the domino effect before trading any altcoin. And at the moment, the domino effect is showing subtle signs of turning around and just moving down a little bit, even if it were to be just a bullish retest, to which I think it will be. And it will be a buy the dip. So I'm still very much like a broken record saying the same thing, but I'm just trying to emphasize the risk that can, that is present at this very moment in time when it comes to altcoins. But like I say, use these charts. These charts will help you gauge some form of entry point when it comes to picking up that furry-faced altcoin that you know and love. Anyway, that's pretty much all I've got for you today. It's more or less the same. Let's see how the markets open later on. We'll see how SPX responds from that, I suppose, area of significance that we saw on Friday. We'll see if Bitcoin can make it up to 25,000. We'll see all these things, see if it can happen, and we'll trade accordingly. But I personally think that the market really does want to have a consolidation, and I'm talking about the entire market. And so with that in mind, it's definitely worth being, cynical about how far things can go. You know what it was like, or maybe you know what it was like back in the peak of the bull market 2021. People are always looking for more. You hit your targets, you always want a little bit more. Look, people are always going to be like, that's human nature. Try to think about preserving your gains rather than always striving for more immediate gains, all right? It's like a game of chess. You can't win it immediately. You've got to set up a plan. It takes a little time. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.